The UPS mess, now the meddling after the big Christmas delivery delay. Democratic Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal immediately calling for UPS to give customers refunds. And the Target hack attack triggering this.
I also want to know if the Federal Trade Commission has the teeth to hold retailers who fail to protect the customer's personal information to account.
Democrat New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez suggesting new regulations may be needed to protect consumers. But, John, when the government gets involved in the private sector, is that when the consumer really pays?
You think? This is like going to the town drunk and asking him how to get sober. Look, Otis Campbell doesn't teach sobriety classes. A government that cannot build a website, you want to talk to them about hacking and efficiencies? Look, credit cards, we have 47% of the fraud in the United States despite 24% of the usage. Computer chips would help that. That's what we need to go to. And as far as the UPS, they hired 55,000 part-time workers, 23 extra jets. They still underestimated demand. The market will deal with them. Congress dealing with them? Good Lord, get your own house in order, guys.
All right, David, what do you say to that?
I think it's ridiculous that a company, Target or UPS or any other, has to wait for a congressman or senator to say, hey, how about tend to your customers, protect them against breaches on private data, and give them a refund when you don't deliver on the promises that you said you would commit to with your customers. So go ahead and be like Amazon, give your customers a refund, and then work to protect your data. Then we won't need government to tell us what to do or to tell them what to do. Just do
David,
it.
that's not fair. That is not fair. Target responded right away, and UPS is responding as well. That's not fair to make that statement.
It may not have been right away, but it was a corporate decision, David. If Target wants to go down in a pile of flames because they made a mistake, that is completely their prerogative. Sucks for their shareholders, but it's their prerogative. The government does. This is not their business whatsoever. And John made the best point of all.
It is their business because they're public servants to customers that are also voters.
John made the best point of all, that the privacy issues on Obamacare will blow your head off because you might as well just hand out your Social Security number on a street corner.
And you were making the argument that the private sector is good at protecting data, and look at what Target just did.
I'm saying the government is not the answer.
No, but
that is not the answer.
But the issue is, Gary
You're right, they're not the answer.
The issue is, Gary B., if Uncle Sam comes in, more regulations, what does that do?
Well, it increases prices to the consumer. Look, Target, as we've kind of implied, has already paid for this. They lost a substantial amount of business in the height of the Christmas season due to this. But if you're going to have the government come in, it's essentially an extra tax. There's going to be extra regulations, extra thing Target has to do or UPS has to do. For example, in order for UPS to absolutely 100% never mess up and always get those Christmas in by Christmas, they'd have to hire a whole bunch more planes and people just for that one peak period that happened, by the way, once in the history of UPS. What's that going to cost? And UPS is not going to say, well, you know what, we'll just take out our profits and charge the same. No, they're going to increase prices for everyone. So when David goes to send his fancy legal document to his other compadre across the hall, that it's going to be extra. David's going to go, geez, this used to cost $12. Now it costs $20. Well, that's what you get for having the government meddle in these affairs.
And the government doesn't need to get involved if you do deliver to your customers.
They do deliver to their customers. They're not allowed to mess up once in their history.
They are, and then give a refund.
Who would you rather have an important package sent, UPS or the United States Postal Service?
Well, if I pay for extra charges to get it delivered at a certain time, I would expect a refund if it doesn't get there on time.
You don't think the U.S. Postal Service ever screws up and doesn't misses a delivery date?
Okay.
I didn't say they didn't.
All right. I got to let Jonas get in. Jonas, is this needless regulation?
I feel like we're arguing over the paint peeling off our yacht. You know, most countries would love to have our problem where you can't get the gifts delivered in time. We bought so much junk at the end of the year by two great shipping companies. Look, I'm all for government when there's no free market solution. In this particular case, since there is a UPS and a FedEx and the post office, this will resolve itself. If there was only one shipping company, you would definitely have to shake them down and put them in front of Congress. This is not that case, I don't think. And I think the Target thing will work itself itself out where Visa's going to get on their case for all the fraud stuff.
Yeah.
So if there's no solution, yeah, that is when the government needs to look out for the people. But if the free market can fix it on its own and there's a path where consumers are going to change their behavior and punish somebody, then you don't need to. But there's plenty of other stuff they need to regulate.
All right. Last word. Thanks, guys.